when I peel the tomatoes, well, I know that there are different types to peel tomatoes, but I prefer to do it like this, from the top to the bottom, and then cut where the vine is, and afterwards I know there's different types to peel them. You can for example put them in hot water and then wait for a bit and then peel them, but no, it's my type of to peel it. For me it's more easier like this, and yeah, or you can take from the top or hold it and then peel it normal like a potato or like other vegetable. And yeah, and that's it. And normally when I cook the tomato sauce, I peel, for example, majority of them, and then and I leave the reddest one unpeeled, and I cut them normal. And yeah, and that's it. When I cut the tomatoes, normally I cut them in 3 or 4, like when you cut it in slices, and then I cut in half. And for me it's more easier like that. And but yeah, and for example, you can, when you peel it, for example, you peel it from the top to the bottom, and then you leave it the bottom uncut it, and then you cut it when you slicing it. And yes, for me it's easy like this. More how to cut an onion. Yeah, well, I cut the sides, where is the roots and the head, and then I cut it long way, and just only for a little bit, and then I peel it like that. It's not I think everyone knows how to peel an onion, isn't it? But of course, yes. And how to cut an onion? Yeah, I cutting the onions long sides, and then side by side, and like that. I cut it like that. It's if you do loads of tomato sauce, it's more easier like this. But of course, if you want, you can cut, if you like your tomato sauce very finely, you can cut it like the tomatoes and the onion very small, very finely. But for me, because when I cook it's more easier like that. But yeah, and of course, in garlic, I tap it with the knife and then I peel it. I think it's the more easier to peel a garlic like this, But yeah, and then I do the same. I cut the garlic the same as the onion. I cut it long side and then in side by side, or if you wanna, you cut it very fine like this. One tip when you cut garlic, the thing is when you cut it, it's very difficult to take care of the smell of the garlic. What I do, for example, I finish cutting the onion and garlic, and I wash my hand, but I don't rub it. I leave the water running, and then I leave my hands running as the water, because if you rub it, it's gonna be worse. Okay, next step, I add a splash of olive oil, and then I leave it to heat up a bit, and then I add the onion until everything is cooked and brown. Yeah, and leave it until everything is cooked. Of course, you need to stir it every time to time. If not, it's gonna burn at the bottom, and then you don't like the I don't like the flavor when it's things burn. Yeah, I'm sorry, I left a small piece of onion there. But yeah, this is fine. It's gonna be fine. It's no problem in it. But yeah, and yes, stir time to time. I add the garlic, 3 cloves of garlic. I don't add first. I never add the garlic first. First, I add my onion and then my garlic, because I don't like my garlic burnt, and it's not very good, the taste of burnt garlic. And then I add my tomatoes, my chopped tomatoes, and yeah, stir it until everything is combined. And yeah, it's very easy. It's very easy recipe. And of course, you can use fresh tomatoes, or you can use if you can find, of course, you can use like plum peeled tomatoes. For example, 2 or 3 cans of plum tomatoes peeled, and yeah, and you cut it, or just only tuck into the pot and then break it inside of the pot. But yeah, if you can find, but use fresh tomatoes. But yeah, because I didn't have any plum tomatoes, I used the fresh ones. And yeah, and leave it until everything is cooked. Stir time to time, and leave it to everything is gonna be tasty and good. But yeah, and then I leave it like that. Other thing, if you think that the tomato sauce needs more water, you add the water. It's not because it's you don't want something very thick in your tomato sauce. What I do is boiled water in the kettle, and then I add it. And now I add my 3 tablespoons of sugar, and my cracked pepper. I prefer to crack my pepper when I cook it. And my teaspoon of salt. I don't use normal salt. I use Himalayan salt, because I have a problem with my thyroid, and normal salt has iodine, and it's not good for me. Is the way I use Himalayan pink salt. And yeah, and you leave it until everything is cooked again. If you think to add more water, you add more water. And I try, and then I add more other tablespoon of sugar. And yeah, because tomatoes is kind of bit like acidity, and yeah, it's the why I add the sugar in it, and to preserve the tomato sauce. Salt always is good. Salt, sugar, vinegar is good to preserve food. And this is the tomato sauce, how I do it. Here, when I storage my tomato sauce, I put it in glass jars. Normally I have a collection of jam jars, because I love jam, and yeah. And or you can put in plastic containers, and yeah, don't fill it. For example, the jars and plastic containers or plastic bags, don't fill it until top, because if you decide to freeze it, it's not good to leave it until the top, because it's gonna expand the liquid and it's gonna break. And okay guys, when you store the tomato sauce, you can store them in the fridge for a week, or you can store them in the freezer for 3 months. Okay, enjoy this tomato sauce and we see. Alright guys, you know the drill. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell to be notified when I have new videos. And alright, take care and be safe at home.